Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Welcome back to the Misunderstood Show. Today we have Caiden Broussard. Is that how you say it, Broussard?
It's a little bit of articulation, but Broussard.
I'm going to get a little closer to the microphone.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Is that better?
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's a Broussard.
Broussard?
Yeah.
Where's that come from? What is that a derivative?
Louisiana.
Oh.
So it's French.
Cajun French. Cajun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you French Cajun?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you from Louisiana?
I am. I'm actually
like you told me this, but I have a 5-second memory.
Yeah. I'm the only one that was actually born in Texas. When they lived here briefly, they moved back and had all my siblings.
Oh, so you actually are a Texan now.
I am a Texan, but I started off over there.
And then how long were you over there?
Till the 3rd grade. We moved here for the 4th grade.
Okay, so you're really a Texan.
Yeah.
I get you. I've never lived out of the state, though. So I'm a true Texan.
Okay.
But I know a lot of people that are born here and then their parents move away, military. So what was the reason? Like just family, job?
My dad, he got an accounting degree at McNeese, which is where I also went for a little bit after I graduated high school. And he got a job with the state of Texas auditing businesses and their sales tax.
Wow.
And so he used to drive to Beaumont, which is like an hour and a half from Lake Charles to Beaumont. Like 5 days a week, he'd be gone all the time. So he finally ended up moving out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So your dad's a smart guy.
He's smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also got a bachelor's in business, I think is what it is.
Oh, so it's 2?
Yeah. He a double major or something like that.
And what about your mom?
She went back to school after a tragic car accident and got her teaching degree when I think I was in high school when she graduated.
Okay. Interesting. My mom graduated from college when I was in high school.
Yeah.
She got a computer science degree.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's very rare, I feel like, for parents to do that.
Yeah.
It's hard to do when you have kids at home.
It was very hard. She had 4, and she worked nights.
Yeah. I have 4 brothers.
Yeah.
So your parents still married?
Yes, they are.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you come from a really good family.
Yeah.
So tell me what happened, because you have this really kind of crazy story of falling off a little bit, and then your return, and now you're a follower of Jesus, which I love, and you really are a true light when you walk into a room. So when I say a follower of Jesus, you're not just saying you're a Christian. I think that you really radiate that light, if that makes sense. I was telling Rachel you're on the show today. She was like, "What? I love him," and I was like, "I know."
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your story.
So I guess dating back, since you brought in the parents and what happened, to be specific, I have ADHD. I struggle with it really bad.
Me too.
My parents didn't know how to handle it when I was younger, so they did the first thing the doctor suggested, which is put me on medication. And the medication did me dirty. I mean, it really, really, really ruined my life during my beginning years.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Luckily, I know now what to look for, like with my own daughter who struggles with it, as does her mom. But in those early years when nobody knew what was happening, it was awful. It was awful. And it really drove me into the darker places later in life.
Wow. That's quite the testimony about people putting their kids on ADHD. Was it Ritalin?
I started off on Adderall, I think is what it was first.
Okay.
But my body couldn't handle it. I was throwing up in school every day in 1st grade. So they switched me over to what's called Concerta. And the only difference was I wasn't getting sick, but I was still a zombie. I had no voice. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I'm nothing like I was growing up. I
That's
mean,
terrible.
yeah, it completely changed who I was 100% every day that I took it.
Wow.
Yeah.
They tried to put my son Jaron on medication, on Ritalin.
That's crazy.
He took it for like, he was a crazy kid. If you see videos, he was wild.
Yeah.
But he's 5, he's 6,
Yeah.
he's 7 years old.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to sit at a desk and act like a robot all day.
Yeah.
That's not ADHD. That's called being a child.
Yeah. I concur.
He don't want to listen to you. So before previously to being in school, you know, I was a stay-at-home mom with my kids, and I was doing photography and stuff like that, but I was home with them.
Yeah.
And we were outside all the time. We were all going to the park, going here, going there. He's used to being active.
Yeah.
You know, and exploring and
Yeah.
all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they want him to sit and do this extremely boring routine every day. And that was, he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And they wanted to put him on, like, the teachers were like, he has ADHD, you need to put him on medication. I was like, I didn't know what to think. You know, I was a young mom. And I went to the doctor and told him, and he said, well, we can try this. And I just had like this sick feeling about it. And I'm one of those, I just follow my gut. And he took it for maybe 3 days.
Yeah.
And it made him sick because they put him on Ritalin.
Yeah.
And
that's ridiculous.
he was like sick. He wouldn't eat. He said he had upset. He never threw up, but he was like wanting to throw up.
Yeah.
And he already had real bad digestive issues that he was born with. And he still struggles with that to this day. And I was like, I'm not going to make it worse.
Yeah.
And he was skinny. So I was like, I don't want him to get skinnier.
Yeah, me too.
And so I was like, absolutely not. We're not doing this. And so I talked to the doctor about other options. And he mentioned other medications you could put him on, like you're just saying. And I said, I just don't really feel... Yeah. But I had an amazing doctor, Dr. Madison Lowry in New Braunfels, who was very open-minded. And this is before all the functional medicine came out and all this stuff. But he was very, like, he would not allow... Pharmaceutical reps were not allowed in his office at all. He was old school. He did not have email. He didn't take credit cards. He was just an old school. He just wanted to help people. Charged $60 to come into he did in-house lab work. He removed, like, I had a couple moles he removed, and he just did it himself and charged me like almost nothing.
Wow.
It turned out just fine. You don't need to go to a dermatologist for simple things.
Yeah.
It's just slice it off. He numbed
Pretty
it,
much.
sliced it off. And then, anyway, I told him, I said, have you ever looked into, because I had friends that were kind of crunchy in the beginning there, you know, when it first like started kind of appearing. And I was like, what do you think about doing like an ADHD diet or just different ways of like maybe keeping him calm? And he was like, he's like, if you want to try it and see, and he's like, let me know. And I changed his diet. Yeah. And it made a really big difference because I didn't realize how much the diet alone was red number 40. Took it out of his diet. Sugar. Took it out. I mean, I didn't really allow him to have a whole lot of sugar when he was younger. He didn't know what candy was till he was like 3 or 4 years old. Yeah. I remember the first time he had candy or cake or something, he was like, soda. My neighbor gave him, the first time in his life ever having like sugar or soda, she gave him a Mountain Dew.
Yikes.
Dude, you would thought somebody gave my kid crack cocaine.
Yeah.
He was acting wild.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I do understand how that can affect. And I'm really sorry that happened to you, but
that's okay. Yeah.
I just want people to know that there are other ways.
Absolutely.
But also, I also don't think kids should just sit in a desk all day long.
I concur. I think
if they want to do, you know, they need to learn how to read. They need to learn how to do math. They need to learn how to do all these things. They need to learn history. They need to learn science. Science, you should be outside learning anyway. History you can do in a fun way. Yeah. You don't have to sit at a desk all day long like a robot to learn. And I don't think anybody really learns that way anyway. They just memorize stuff, take a test, and forget all about it. Because I don't remember remember 90% of stuff I learned in school. Yep. Do I know how to read and write? Yeah, of course. But I mean, you don't have to go to school 8 hours a day to learn how to read and write and do math.
Yeah, school is funny because on one hand, ADHD I also call the hyper-focus blessing, because on one side you look at it like it's a disorder. That's what normal people call it. but we're all just different. And so the hyper-focus blessing, which is what I try to call it, is when you have an ability
But
that
every
other
other
people don't
person I
have.
meet, they're like, I'm ADHD.
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense.
So again, like with the hyper-focus blessing, people with ADHD, true ADHD, they will hyperfixate on random stuff, whatever they have a passion for. For me, before they put me on medicine, it was music. Now I sing and play guitar. But back then, when I was banging on pots and pans, instead of putting me in music class, they put me on ADHD meds. And then I didn't even talk till I was 18. I didn't even start singing till I was 18. I didn't realize I could. I was listening to like heavy metal where they didn't sing, they screamed. And so I never even tried to practice singing, much less like, hear myself sing. And so one day I was playing my guitar and my mom overheard me and she's like, is that you? And I'm singing. She's like, you sound pretty good. So that was the first time I'd heard anybody say anything about,
did you bring your guitar?
be able to. No, I did not.
Why not?
Maybe next time. Maybe not. I didn't know. It was my first time here.
Next time.
Just showed up.
All right.
But I remember thinking like, and that's one thing that now I hyperfixate on. I sing all day long. Like if I'm in the car, I'm singing.
I do too. I just don't sound very good. My husband turns up the radio.
Yeah. But like my daughter.
Of course, my friend Carrie Jo is an excellent singer.
Who?
And Carrie Jo? She was at the party.
Oh, I thought you meant like Carrie Job, like the worship leader. I was like, oh, Carrie Job, that's crazy.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, right? No, Carrie Jo, she's a realtor in the Woodlands, and
okay.
But she's an amazing singer, and she said her husband turns up the radio and she sings. So maybe I'm not that bad. I'm just kidding. I'm bad. My dad was like, "You're like a dying cap in a hailstorm."
Oh my gosh, and my mom's like that. We used to look at her crazy in church.
Yep, my kids do that to me. They're like, "Please stop."
Yeah,
but she loves to sing, huh?
Yeah. So my mom, she doesn't attend church quite as much as they used to now that we live in a different community. They had built such a great community there that it just doesn't feel the same.
Yeah,
I think it's the biggest. They're always busy, but I think it's more of that.
I had a really strong community with my church back home, and I have a really good church now, but it's just not the same.
Yeah.
It was a smaller church too, so now I go to like a big church, and I love it. I love it, and I love the message because it's like he basically takes everything strictly from the Bible, which I think is really important, not adding things.
Yeah.
But I miss that like community, the smaller, everybody knows everybody. Hey, we're moving this weekend. Hey, what do y'all need? Everybody shows up and helps you, or like we had a friend of ours lost her husband, and everybody just pitched in to help her out because she had kids, and the whole church just took care of her.
Yeah.
And you don't see that here.
Yeah. We grew up going to a Catholic church in a pretty much all Baptist area. So they had like 8 Baptist churches and 1 Catholic church right in the middle.
Fun.
And there was no
like
real hatred. Yeah, kind of. But when my mom got in her wreck when I was in the 5th grade,
like a car accident.
Yeah, she used to deliver papers before she got her degree, and 18-wheeler was backing out. She didn't see it. She got run off the road, and it was bad. She was in the hospital for like 9 months.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was awful. She broke her back a bunch of places, and she almost died. And
I got hit by an 18-wheeler.
Yeah, I think you told me about that.
I did
right?
die.
Yeah.
But I wasn't in the hospital for 9 months.
No, yeah.
I recovered pretty quick. I was also 18 years old.
Oh yeah. She
the older you get, the harder it is to recover.
Yeah. But she almost died in that car wreck, and our church came together, and
she can walk and everything now?
Yeah. Okay. She does everything mostly.
They said she broke her back, so I wasn't sure.
In several places from what I remember. But our church would bring us food, and they would bring us clothes, and we grew up poor. So we would have clothes that they would bring us.
Would you change that?
Change what? Growing up poor? Absolutely not.
I wouldn't either.
Absolutely
I grew up poor, and I'm so glad I did.
Yeah.
Because I have such a greater appreciation.
Yeah.
For the smallest things. I also grew up in the woods.
Yeah.
So there's things that my memories of my childhood are like walking in the woods and
Mm.
like laying down in the leaves and looking up at the sky and chasing butterflies. And I was
Yeah.
climbing trees and build forts till I was like 16 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and so I have a true appreciation for just this.
Mm.
You don't really need a whole lot.
Yeah.
You need a roof over your head when it's yucky outside.
Yeah.
You need food,
Mm-hmm.
water.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the basic essentials of life
Yeah.
are pretty minimal.
Yeah. And for kids,
Some
whatever's
shoes.
left in their fridge, you know.
Yeah.
And that's fine. They if you eat in there, you know, or drink water. So
Yeah. I think my goal for this year, for the 2026, you know, everybody has all these goals of like being more successful or losing weight or getting healthy. My goal is to live much more simply.
Mm-hmm.
Just the basics.
Yeah. Yeah.
And be more grateful.
Yeah. I remember my parents both worked 2 jobs for a long time,
Wow.
especially after my mom's wreck. They were in such deep debt that,
Your dad had to take on that burden.
yeah. And so they'd work 2 jobs and they'd have to call in sometimes because we didn't even have gas money. So it would be, they'd have to wait till the paycheck. It would be rough. And as children, we didn't understand any of it. Now that I'm grown, I understand why we had my dad that one day of the week at home, you know, versus
He didn't make good money doing all that with all those degrees.
he made okay. Well, he made okay money, but it's working for the state. So it's not just a huge paycheck. And then now he does much better. He works for the state of Virginia now. And my mom's a teacher, so they both basically doubled their salaries.
Okay.
So they're doing way better now. But back then, it was like, especially with those medical bills,
Yeah.
waiting for the 18-wheelers company and the settlement and all the litigation or whatever goes
And she was
into
on the
that.
job, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was passing out newspapers for, I think, the city of Beaumont.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
So she was on the job and it was an 18-wheeler.
Mhm.
Was it the 18-wheeler's fault?
To be honest, I don't know all the details. I never really asked.
Mm.
I believe so. Yeah, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Could they pay all the 9 months worth of hospital bills? No, I guess not. But I remember
They
we
should have.
had. Yeah. Well, I don't know at what point some businesses they can't. At some point some businesses
They should
run
have
out,
insurance.
right? Even then, at what point do they stop having coverage?
They
like,
should have at least
what
$1 million.
level? Well, how long does 9 months, with all these different
True.
surgeries and stuff?
True.
Like I say, I don't know all the details.
Yeah.
I just guesstimate sometimes.
Yeah.
Need to
My
ask
one
us those.
surgery, my first surgery was $200,000 just for the surgery.
Yeah. So,
My helicopter flight was like $30,000. I was only in it for 13 minutes. I think
That's
it's how long
crazy.
it says on the paper.
yeah.
Because they sent me some of the bills and it
Mhm.
had like the billing on there and how many
Yeah.
minutes you're on there, and a cotton ball was $10.
yeah.
I mean, you can dispute a lot of that.
Yeah.
I'm not paying $10 for a cotton ball.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's cotton.
yeah.
But okay, so tell me, let's move into, so you graduated high school out in Texas.
Mhm.
Where at?
Hampshire Finette High School,
Where's that?
east of Baytown.
Okay.
So in between I-10
Small?
and 73.
Small school?
Yes. I
Yeah.
think the whole school had like 350 people.
It's pretty small.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So you did graduate high school.
Mhm.
And then what'd you do? You went to college for a little bit?
Yeah, I tried. I
The
sure
same college your
tried.
dad went to?
Yeah, I had got a scholarship for, my dad being an alumni,
Wow.
and I lasted one
That's
semester.
nice.
Yeah.
And then blew it?
Yeah, I got a DWI during winter break. I was trying to go for nursing. I really wanted to go in the military and then have them pay for me to be a doctor because I just didn't have that oomph to like study as hard as doctors did. So I figured I go be a nurse. It's like half as hard, and then join the military because I felt
Nursing's
that'd
a
be
rough
awesome.
job, though.
Well, at the time I
Yeah.
wasn't thinking about that.
Right.
But I even studied to be what's called a farm tech in high school.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it was that guy's first year teaching, and everybody failed, so he didn't get to do it again. But that was the goal, was to like farm tech during nursing school to military pay for doctorate, and then just work there forever. Be a doctor, be like a Kool-Aid back, VA doctor or something like that. Unfortunately, that didn't work out after that DWI. and failing all my classes. I had joined a frat and drank 6 to 7 nights a week, the whole like 18 weeks of the
Those frats
semester.
are terrible.
They're awful. They're awful.
Yeah, the whole like frat boy thing.
Yeah.
It's not a very good term usually when somebody's calling you a frat boy.
Yeah.
It's kind of a derogatory.
Yeah.
And our oldest is a frat boy at Texas
That's what your son
Tech.
told me. Yeah.
And he's a great kid, but I've been so concerned about him, being involved in all that, and he posts all the time, and they're always drinking, and I hate it. I hate it. I'm like, I don't want him to get in what happened to you, but I also don't want him to get in a wreck or kill somebody else.
Yeah.
There's so many bad things happen with these kids at college and drinking and all this stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
So you got a DWI.
Yeah.
And then what happened? You had to move back home?
Well, I tried to make it over there. I picked up, 2 jobs. I was working at Lowe's and Academy to pay for everything because I was on what's called pretrial diversion, or deferred adjudication is what I think they call it here, or adjudication. And so basically I do 1 year of probation and they erase it. Well, at some point I was living with my grandparents over there in Lake Charles to go to school. And when all that happened, I fell back into drug addiction, which we didn't talk about before, but I struggled with drugs all throughout high school. Mostly weed until the end, but once I got to the end, I started to struggle with the fake weed stuff. And it was the answer to my...
What's fake weed?
It's K2, spice, gumbo. They have a number of names. It's basically like oregano leaves they spray with chemicals. And it makes you...
What?
Yeah. And you smoke it.
I've never even heard of such a thing.
It's awful. I struggled with that for a very long time, all the way up until prison. But while I was at the end of high school, I got into that. Some friends put me onto that, and it really makes you check out. Yeah. It made me check out like mentally, so I didn't have to feel everything I was feeling from the ADHD meds, all the damage it had done. I didn't have to process all the emotions that I was being
suppressing because of the medication.
Yeah.
That's terrible. I've never heard it explained that way.
Yeah. So when
you need to go like spread this around.
I try to.
So people don't put their kids on this medication. It's so terrible.
Absolutely.
This is heartbreaking to hear this. And what's really heartbreaking is I know so many people who've been put on those medications.
Yeah.
And I know people that are still putting their kids on the medication.
Yeah. And I think of how
they just trust doctors. Yeah. And I'm like, stop. Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah.
You cannot trust doctors.
Yeah.
People, stop trusting doctors.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's the doctors are evil. I think that they just think that they're doing a good thing because that's what they're taught.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't realize.
They don't understand the whole history of why they're being taught that, starting with Rockefeller. We don't have to go into all that.
On the next segment, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. If you listen to my show enough, you'll pick up the pieces here and there, that we talk about there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle and I touch on a lot of it, but go ahead. So finish you got a DWI.
Yeah. I fell back into, I was only drinking drugs. Really while I was in college.
So you were doing, because you got away from those friends when you went to college?
Yeah. And I met worse friends.
So when you live with your grandparents, you got a DWI, they sent you back home?
Not yet. I got back on the fake weed while I was there.
At your grandparents?
Yeah.
Why?
It's just, I don't know.
Because you felt like stressed out about the DWI?
There's no if and why, nothing when it comes to addiction. It's just, at some point, if you don't process it, if you don't define what you're battling, you can't defeat it. So if you don't know, then you'll always lose. And that's what I was doing. I was always losing to something I couldn't define. I couldn't identify at the time. I didn't know. I didn't realize until after years of rehabs and prison and Jesus. And it wasn't until after all that I started being able to see why I was making those decisions.
Right.
But even though I knew them, I would still make some bad decisions because it's trial and error.
You grew up in a good Christian home, it sounds like. Good parents, married, nothing's perfect. I'm sure it
No,
wasn't
yeah.
perfect.
There's extra stories for all of those, right? So
everybody has extra stories.
Absolutely.
But it sounds like you had a pretty good foundation,
Yeah.
at least. You know, you were able
Yeah.
to live with your grandparents and go to
Yeah.
college
Yeah.
and got a scholarship
Yeah.
because of your dad. And
Yeah, I had a great family
Yeah.
overall. I still do. I mean, they're still here.
That's
So
pretty amazing.
yeah.
Well, it
But
explains probably you had that, at least the grounding of your family, because you are a really good human.
no, I appreciate that.
So it still
Thank you.
paid off.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But yeah, after I got my DWI, I met a guy while I was working at Academy who sold K2, and so he
That's why I don't want Jaron to go in the workforce.
Yeah.
He wants to get a job at Cavender's. And I'm kind of like,
nah.
I really don't want him to,
I don't either.
because I'm afraid I know I used to work at
There's
Cavender's.
so many bad influences.
So many. I worked at Schlitterbahn.
Mhm.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I'd rather, like, he's running his little landscape business and working
Yep.
for himself. And I'm just like, I'd rather him keep doing that.
Yep. Absolutely.
I honestly don't want him to get the job. And he really wants the job. He's actually went back up there several times and talking to him.
man.
And I think maybe God's like protecting him.
Yeah. You just never know. You
Yeah.
never know. But yeah, he got me back on K2, and before long, with addiction, if you can't find it, you'll find something else. So I was in such a bad place at that point, after feeling like the world was ending with the DWI, that I actually started, and I'm always ashamed of this one. I started like really being a dope fiend and like Googling anything I could find, like anything that would get me high any type of way, scrounging for money just to go get alcohol some kind of way from my old frat friends. And at some point I started taking my grandparents' medicine in large quantities of different assortments. So I basically just find anything that I felt like if I mixed together, it would make me high, and I would take them. And during one of my family's gatherings, I did that and just about OD'd. I threw up over half the pills. I took probably 20 something pills, just various ones. And that shows the nature of addiction. It's not there to help you. It's there to kill you.
You weren't scared it would kill you?
I wasn't in my right mind at all. I was already mostly high. And then I thought, let me just take a couple of these and a couple of these. Before you know it, I'm what they call vertigo. Like my equilibrium was off. I'm walking down the side of the wall, knocking all the pictures off the wall. And they're like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I told them they asked me what happened. I was like, obviously I'm high. And so I fess up. I'm like, I took a bunch of y'all's pills. So that was the end of my time with my grandparents.
Yeah. And then your grandparents probably need that medication.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm ashamed of it. It's like, not so much ashamed anymore. I've made amends, but when I think back about it, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that I did that.
Well, I mean, that's a natural reaction. Anybody and everybody is embarrassed about things that they've done.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you're talking about it, and you're going to help somebody else. And I truly believe that you have a purpose, and that's to get out and spread the good news.
Yeah. For sure.
And let people know. Because what if you were in that situation and you were listening to this podcast? Do you think it would make a difference?
Yeah. It'd be a planted seed,
and that's
for sure.
Kind of the point. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're going to make me cry.
I almost started.
I saw you.
I had to tear up.
I
love my
cried on my
grandparents.
last show. Poor Dick over here. He's like, good Lord, lady. You have the most emotional stuff on here. But it's important stuff.
Yeah.
And especially there's so many kids in this community that are struggling with all the same things that you're talking about right now.
Absolutely.
And a lot of them die.
Yeah.
And it's really important for this community to understand this. And I'm all about the community. I don't think I'm going to change the world, but if I can change our community at least,
Yeah.
So after that.
Yeah. I got worse. I didn't get better. I didn't go to rehab yet, but I ended up on full-time on K2. I'd get maybe a couple of days. I job hopped like 20 jobs in a year.
Where do you get this K2?
For anybody that sells it, really. I mean,
but where do you find these people?
I mean, you'd be surprised. I think that's straight from the enemy, how he just sends people your way.
Them.
Yeah, because it it's the opposite of miraculous, you know, that they would show up at these random places and you would just be cool and they'd be willing to drive 30 minutes for you to drop off X amount, you know. So it's like I had lost my I wasn't off of probation yet. So I still couldn't drive my vehicle, which my grandparents gave me, the same folks that I stole the meds of. They gave me that car, and I couldn't drive it anymore. And so I pretty much just stayed at home. I was searching for jobs, but I couldn't last very long anywhere. My whole memory of that time is pretty vague because I was in and out of consciousness for the most part.
Right.
Between all the alcohol I was still consuming, all the K2 I was still smoking.
Where are you getting the money for it?
I was scrounging around, getting jobs here or there for a little while. I mean, you know, like I say, like finding change in the seat sometimes. I mean, it was ridiculous. Most of the time I'd go work somewhere for a little bit, get like a week or two sober, and I'd either get my first paycheck or get somebody to loan me some money, and I'd stop showing up because I'd be high. There was one time I worked at Party City, and I showed up like 2 weeks later. After I got hired, I showed up for 2 days, got some money, and then didn't show up for 2 weeks. Showed up high and was like, all right, I never found out when my shifts were. And they were like, you no longer work here, dude. You just disappeared. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm so high, I can't even process properly.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I worked at all kinds of places as a busser, as a waiter, as a Party City. I mean,
so you mean there's plenty of jobs out there?
Well, that was in my hometown.
I'm just saying. People are like, I can't find a job. I'm like, there's jobs everywhere.
Yeah, there's different paths.
If you could get a job in that situation, anybody can get a job.
There's different paths in different places. Over there, you just put in it on Indeed or on the website. You know, I'd have like 12 hours sober and then be able to function just well enough to put in an application online or whatever, and they'd call me because there's just not a huge workforce where I was from. Over here, you can show up to a job site where they have laborers, especially with ICE having picked up so many people. I mean, you can go to pretty much any job site now and find some work. Just say, hey, I'm ready to work. And they're
interesting. Like, you should tell Darren that.
Short-handed. Well,
because he's slow right now.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to work at Cavender's. I don't really want him to do that either, though.
Yeah.
Sounds dangerous.
Well, all the times I actually worked as a new construction plumber.
Is that kind of where drug addicts hang out in those places?
Absolutely.
Oh, that scares me.
That's how they find those jobs. Like, that's why my mindset says
like
that.
Like at Home Depot? Like those workers?
No, but...
You know how like the Mexicans sit out Home Depot and you pick them up? Because I've done that.
I've actually seen that. I've never noticed that before.
Oh, so in my town, they all hung out at Home Depot.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
And I used to pick them up in the back of my truck, or they would have their own car, and I would just tell them where to go. Most of the time, they had their own car. They were just looking for work, and I would just hire them.
Yeah.
You know, pay them cash or whatnot. But, because sometimes I just had jobs that I needed to get done.
Yeah.
I wasn't steady enough to hire people full time.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think about it.
I never had any issues with anybody.
Man.
You know who I had issues with? Who? Americans.
Yeah.
Coming to work drunk, coming to work high. I had a guy open his doors like Cheech and Chong. I'm like, bro, this is a multi-million-dollar property. You cannot be high.
Yeah, park over
there. Came home from lunch, and there's a guy sitting on the back porch, struggle with addiction, been in and out of rehabs, was a trust fund baby, and great guy. Used to own a landscape business, and I hired him to help me with my landscaping because he was a good dude, and he knew so much. And I thought he was clean, and came back from, my client calls me, your worker is here sitting on my back porch drinking a beer. I'm like, it's like noon on like a Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Yeah. So I don't understand it. I guess I just don't.
You can't.
And you can't, because I don't have that nature. But I have seen it over and over destroy people's lives and their families and relationships and careers, and it's devastating.
Yeah.
But so you were running around, scrounging jobs, scrounging money, getting high on K2.
Yeah.
Nothing else? You weren't doing like heroin or cocaine, or is that too expensive?
I did get on meth for about 3 months. Luckily, I didn't stick to it. But
is that worse than K2?
Well, it's different. So K2 is a downer. It's like, it makes you like,
What do they put on K2? What is this chemical?
I don't know, bro. They used to sell it as what's called potpourri. You know, potpourri
It's probably
is?
like
That's what they sold it
pesticides
as.
or something.
Oh yeah, it's awful. Like, I've probably got permanent damage, especially from the amount I had smoked.
It's amazing that you don't have like brain damage.
I probably do.
You seem fine.
I seem fine, but I remember
once in a while you're like-
nothing. Yeah. Nah, people that did meth for a long time, they do that. But
Oh, the meth mouth and,
Yeah.
and the brain. Have you
Yeah.
seen like the x-rays of their brains? They have like wormholes and they don't,
Yeah.
it cannot recover.
yeah, I haven't seen it, but I haven't been on it for 3 months. It started out okay. I could go to sleep.
Have you seen like even their skin? They get
Yeah.
like scars
Yeah.
and their
Yeah.
teeth rot out
Yeah.
and God, it's like
Yeah.
rots them from the
Mhm.
inside out.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
And a lot of that comes from smoking it. So you can put it in a pipe and smoke it, and that ruins your mouth. I was snorting it so that, those issues didn't happen.
So it
that-
went straight
the
to your
meds-
brain.
Yeah. And it's not like cocaine. Like cocaine.
How's your DV? Do you have a septum issues or anything?
No, I didn't
No?
do it very long. Like I said, it was only 3 months. Some
I'm
folks
just
do it
curious.
for decades. Yeah. Well, I realized in that time where I was on meth, especially when I started staying up for several days at a time and hearing things and seeing things, I realized why I had so many issues when I was on the other stimulants my whole life. I realized why I was hearing voices
kinda the same
on
thing.
ADHD meds. It's
So
the exact
basically,
same
we're
thing.
putting our kids on meth.
Yeah. So, yeah, amphetamines,
That is
methamphetamines.
legitimate.
Amphetamines?
It's evil.
Methamphetamines.
That
Yeah.
is sickening and evil
the
that
same
they're
thing.
doing this to our children.
I
It
believe
makes
so.
me absolutely furious. What do we do?
Stop putting them on.
What is wrong with our society, our government, our doctors, all of it, the FDA, everybody? What is wrong with them? Why would they do this to kids?
I think they're just doing their best to herd the masses. In the end, we have, like,
I feel like they're trying to turn people into slaves. Or it's legitimate, like the
I mean-
Antichrist is setting a plate and
well, you
That is
look at
evil.
you look at funding, right? Government funding. They fund public schools. They fund
it all started with
prisons.
Rockefeller.
They fund prisons. And,
All you have to do is learn all about
Yeah.
what Rockefeller, how it all started
yeah,
in the Industrial Revolution. That's how it started.
Yeah.
Rockefeller.
Yep.
He's the one who started funding all the schools. He's the one who started funding the colleges. He's the one who started public schools. He's the one who did all of this.
Mhm. Well, if you look at
He was evil, and so was J.P. Morgan. They're horrible people, a lot of them. That's why I don't like to support corporate America. That's why I have Frost Bank and Randolph Brooks Federal Credit Union. Not that they're any better, because I don't
Yeah.
really like banks, but at least they're local.
yeah,
Anyway, we get another rabbit hole. So somebody told me I should name the show Rabbit Holes.
yeah. I think you told me that. Right. That's hilarious.
Okay, so you, hi,
Yeah.
meth.
I was a kite.
Then what
Meth.
happened?
At some point while I was doing plumbing, which is where I also tried meth for X amount of months, I got in trouble. Actually, before that, I caught another charge when I was down and out without a job, needed some money. I got with this guy, and we went into this home that was abandoned. He didn't live there, but he was a hoarder, kept a bunch of stuff in there. And they had a little dirt bike in there, and one of my buddies had already grabbed one. And so he came and told us and was like, okay, well, let's go grab the other one and we'll have money for more drugs. And so me being all high and them being all high, we go down there. It's on my own street that I lived on. It's a few houses down. And we go in to try to get it. And the neighbor like fires a shotgun from outside the window. He heard us going through the window. So they call the cops. I was barefoot because I was dumb and high. And my other buddy, he had boots on. So long story short, he ended up running, and I ended up staying at gunpoint. He had me at gunpoint. And the cops came, and I got another charge. So I spent a little bit of time in the county, got 5 more years of probation, deferred adjudication here for burglary of a building. And then while I was doing plumbing, I failed a drug test for weed on probation. So they put me on a special probation where I had to get tested all the time. And I ended up showing up to drug court, which I had to go to like every month, I think, high on K2 that was cut with benzodiazepine, so it'd be like Xanax basically. So
What does that mean? Cut like
so it had it sprinkled in it some kind of way. I'm not entirely sure, but that's what I failed for. So when they drug tested me, because I was
you just smoke
pale
this
white,
stuff?
yeah,
And it's mixed with God knows what. You don't
Yep.
even know.
that's correct. Yeah. So I was pale white and sweating balls and I was barely even there mentally. And the judge was like, drug test that one right there, that guy. So they did, and I failed for benzos. And my probation officer said, you got two choices. You can say you didn't do it, and we can test it and send you somewhere for like 9 months, or you can admit yourself somewhere for 1 month, and we'll go from there. And I couldn't function, so my mom was like talking for me. I was gone, and so she's like, "We'll get him somewhere," and she was like, "You're lucky your mom cares about you." And I'm like, "Okay, you know." So not long after that, a few months later, I went to rehab for the first time, and I smoked the whole way there.
Your parents put you in rehab?
Well, they helped me get involved in rehab. They suggested I go a couple times before that, but I was always like, I don't need it. That's not it's for people that have to, that are dependent, not that are just psychologically wanting it. It's for people that like heroin. I didn't know. I just wasn't familiar. It was for me, right? So I went for the first time for 30 days.
When you're doing drugs.
Yeah. When you're doing
And
period.
Period.
Yeah. It's for people that can't stop,
It's for everybody who does drugs. Because if you're doing them in the first place,
yeah,
you have a problem.
And I learned that there were folks in there for weed. They couldn't stop. They were there for their job, alcohol, heroin. Yeah. And it was so bad, I didn't stop till like my 4th day there. I actually snuck some in. I was smoking the whole trip to Houston, which is how I actually ended up here from my tiny town I'm from. And I met my good friend Lane, who stuck with me throughout that entire period after that.
He was recovering as well?
Yeah, he was in rehab. We met in the rehab. And so he was a lone wolf. I didn't know what was going on. He was familiar. So we just clicked up and ended up in a sober house where I struggled with K2 the whole time I was there. I struggled with drinking. I met my daughter's mom there.
She was also an addict?
She went to rehab. She doesn't claim it like that, which, if she can drink, she took some acid in college, I think. And like her parents freaked out and put her in rehab to like kind of.
Well, good for her parents.
Yeah. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying she wasn't do
like
recovery.
Yeah, she wasn't like an addict.
Yeah, no, she
was just messing around like a college kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how it starts.
Yeah.
So her parents were smart to nip it in the butt.
Yeah. So
don't you wish your parents had nipped it in the butt right away?
Well,
or they just
they tried. They just didn't know. I started in high school battling, like I said, with weed.
And they didn't know.
They didn't realize how bad it was going to be. They thought it was just going to be weed, and realistically, it probably could.
I drug test my kid randomly.
That's good. You should.
And nicotine tests and alcohol tests, and the drug test has like 10 different drugs on it. But I don't know if it'll test for all that stuff.
What's that?
Whatever this drug you're trying, K2.
The K2? No, that was the whole point of the K2 is that it doesn't show up unless it's cut with something on the test or it comes up as a false positive.
Because it's not like a normal drug.
I mean, yeah, it's just chemicals, right? So.
And we don't know what the chemicals are.
No, it's ever changing.
I'm going to do some research.
You should. I think you'll be unpleasantly surprised at all the findings.
Nothing surprises me anymore.
It's awful, is what it is. It's straight from the devil.
Oh, for sure.
And it's what they do primarily in prison, too, because they can't test for it. So instead of...
They have drugs in prison?
Oh, yeah.
How do they get them?
How you think?
Pay off the guards?
Or through visitation. In the county jail, they'll drill holes in the visitation glass and pass it through. There's a number of things, yeah.
How do they not know that there's holes in the glass?
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know. I didn't ever watch them that hard to figure out like why the guards were looking at the holes in the glass.
They're getting paid off.
Well, some of them, yeah, but when you would go to visitation, they have screws in the holes here and there, but somehow at different points they managed to drill all the way through with some like nail clippers or something. They'll just drill a hole the whole time they're in visitation until they pass all the way through. And that's in county though, county jail. Like
That's some
Harrison County.
dedication.
Yes, it is. Well, there's a lot of money to be made and a lot of time to kill, I suppose. So, yeah. But
So you went to rehab,
went to
met
rehab.
your daughter's mom.
Yeah. I got her pregnant, and then I was also relapsing on and off the whole time, struggling with the idea that I was an addict or that I couldn't drink. And, you know, clearly I was an addict because I kept smoking K2. And at some point, I ended up ODing, and long story short, I went back to rehab. She supported me through it, but when I got out, I was a mess. I couldn't function right. I was not who she needed me to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so rightfully she
Now
left
she's
me.
got a child to think about.
Yeah. And so rightfully she left me while she was pregnant. And I had, after that second time of rehab, I ended up back at the sober house where my buddy was at. He would come and visit me while I was in rehab again. And we both relapsed. He had stayed sober for like 11 during most of that time that I was in and out of relapse. And he relapsed when I came back after rehab the second time. And I remember my daughter's mom, I guess she, you know, hormones or whatever, she's saying some mean stuff. Rightfully so. I did some awful stuff while I was in my addiction. And I about lost it. I was already drinking again. And we had this guy that had just moved into the sober house with us that, long story short, we had an altercation while I was intoxicated. And the crowd I was with was very tough or whatever, right? And talking about, I'd die for you, or a gang type talk, right? Not that we were in a gang, it's just that sort of aggressive talk. So we fought in the front yard behind some nonsense, and then we separated because we got caught drunk at a sober house, so we had to leave. But the dude was still talking a lot of crap, and I went into our room. I'm hammered drunk, in and out of consciousness, and I grabbed this large knife and I put it in my waistband. I'm in mesh shorts. I don't have shoes on, nothing, no shirt. We're smoking cigarettes, drinking whiskey and Coke, and all that happens. And I put this big old knife in my waistband. I'm so drunk. I go to grab clothes to leave, and I grab some dude's.
This is shocking to
Yeah.
me because I know you as the person you are now, and I just cannot. It's hard for me to imagine you behaving like that. It is insane
awful.
what alcohol and drugs will do to a person.
Absolutely. So I was so intoxicated, I go to grab my clothes, and I don't pay attention to the fact that it's one of the dude's chicks that are there. Their clothes are in the dryer. And so I have this hamper of girls' clothes, and I'm, like I said, I've just got the mesh shorts, and I'm walking out, and this dude, he's behind me. And I called him a name, and he said, "What'd you say?" And I turned around. I was at a distance. I pulled the knife out, and I was like, "You heard me?" And he walked up on me. So in my mind, I'm like, "Oh, I got to stab him now, or he's going to take it and stab me." That, in my drunk processing of 5 seconds, really like 2.5, that's what I was thinking. So he walks up, he hits me in the face, and at the very same time, I lunged it forward and stabbed him in the stomach one time. And then the way he punched me, I was facing the door. So I just turned my whole body and kept going, I didn't even look. I didn't see it, nothing. It was one quick time, and I heard it, and I went on. I told my buddy that was drinking with me, Lane. I said, "Man, come on, man. I just stabbed that fool." And he's arguing with somebody else. I'm like, "Man, let's go. I just stabbed that fool." He walks out, sees it. He's like, "Oh, crap." So we go out. And we leave and we burn off, and I was on the run for about a month and a half before they.
Was the guy okay?
He's from what I understand, he's alive now. When you have a victim in a crime, you're not allowed to contact him. So I don't know for sure. I mean, he called me a few days later, so I don't know where he's at now.
He called you?
Yeah, I guess the detectives were there when he woke up from a coma or whatever, and was trying to get him to. He's like, "Oh, I didn't look at the number," I'm like. he's like, I'm in the hospital. I'm like, why are you in the hospital? he's like, cause you stabbed me. And I'm like, I didn't stab you. You know, in my head, I'm like, the detectives are there, right? They're trying to record me or something. And I was still drinking. I was still drunk.
Were the cops
drunk.
there listening, or he just called you out of the blue?
I don't know. I just thought that. It sounds good, right?
You think he was in a coma?
I don't know. They never told me the details.
Oh, we got 5 minutes. We're going to have to fast forward.
Yikes. Okay.
I know it goes fast, doesn't it?
Yeah. So anyways, they caught me after 18 months. I mean, after
a month and a half.
Yeah, it was like a month and a half. I went to prison, and for
attempted manslaughter,
pretty much aggravated assault with a deadly weapon causing bodily injury. That's attempted murder, essentially.
So he lived.
Yeah. And while I was in prison, I went on a 9-month bender with drugs and alcohol because I had a job that
in
had
prison.
Access. Yeah.
What were you doing in prison that gave you access?
I had a job where I went to all the different dorms to pick up trash and shirts and stuff. And so after 9 months, I'm carrying around a shank and just being angry all the time and thinking I'm never getting out of here. I'm going to kill somebody OD or get a life sentence for or die like in a knife fight. I cried out. I had what I call a Hannah experience. And
a what?
A Hannah experience. So when Hannah and Samuel, when she wanted a child, she cried out to the Lord, and they thought she was drunk, you know, because she cried out so hard, and he blessed her with that life, and she dedicated that life to the Lord. Mm-hmm. She gave that life to be oversaw. And that's pretty much what happened to me. I woke up the next day after crying my eyes out and saying, if you don't take it, I'm going to die. And he did. He took it. He took it from me, and what
made you suddenly give it to him? Of all this happening, why not sooner?
I don't know. And just one day I just couldn't take it anymore. It was
a breaking point.
Yeah.
Nothing happened that day.
Not specifically. It was just one day. It was too much. I just knew it was never going to end, and I saw no end in sight. I saw that my death was probably imminent. You can get the death penalty for killing someone in there, and I was threatening to stab people.
You can get the death penalty for killing somebody in
prison? If I'm not mistaken, yeah. At least that's what I believe, but I'm pretty sure now, yeah. If you kill somebody in prison, they'll kill you. Like, it's not really the life anymore. They have the opportunity to inject you or whatever. But yeah, so that's where I met Jesus, and dedicated my life to him ever since then.
And so when you were in prison, you started going like to Bible study?
No, I actually studied at a table with Muslims who challenged me hardcore every day. And the only thing I had to defend myself was the fact that I was sober and there was no one else that could do it but God. And
did you have a Bible?
Yeah. And I studied it day and night to answer the questions. No, they were hard sent from the enemy, for sure, to challenge it. But like I said,
it made you stronger.
Absolutely. I mean,
God can take those bad things and turn them into good.
I quit that job that I had, and I studied for like 8 to 10 hours a day. I'd just be in my Bible.
You can just quit your job in prison?
No, I had to do some. I mean, that job, everybody wants it, so I could hand it off. It was free money
everybody wants it because they want to be able to have access.
Yeah, access.
So what did you do after that?
I just sat at the table all day long and read.
And they didn't make you work?
No, I got put on medical because I had a hernia from before and some other issues, and so I talked to the doctor and told him my situation. He's like, okay, I'll take you off. I'll put you on work, like medical work.
So the doctor helped you out.
Yeah.
After the doctors destroyed your life, you had one that helped you.
Yeah.
Nice. So then how long were you in prison?
I was in prison for 5 years. Wow. 5 years, yeah.
And then you got out. When did you get out of prison?
January 3rd, 2023.
So it's only been 2 years. That's the day before my birthday.
I'm closing in on 3 years now.
Yeah, 3 years. It'll be 3 years.
Your birthday's on January 4th?
Uh-huh.
Okay, we'll celebrate.
We're having a little celebration of my birthday, for my birthday, on January 3rd. You have to come over. We'll have a celebration for you instead.
I actually just got off parole in November. I had an 8-year sentence, so.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Congratulations. You want to go drink? I'm just kidding.
You're so funny.
I know. I have a terrible sixth sense of humor. He knows. So you got out of prison. What'd you do?
I went to Mattress Max welding school, and after trying
What is that? Is that like for prisoners?
No, he just has he has a secondary school for at-risk youth and people who can't like folks who kids that like get kicked out of school a lot. It's a secondary campus, and they do training during the day for students. It's a high school for students, Premier High School, and then it's a night school for adults for 18.
And Mattress Mac does this? I didn't even know.
He partnered with a guy named Mike Feinberg, who started the KIPP schools, I think is what he did.
Okay.
And they opened that up, so it gets funded through.
So but you don't use that?
No, I did. I graduated top of my class there. It was like a 3-month course. Top of my class, I graduated early, so I was assisting all the other students, and I got a job at a high-end fabrication shop as a welder helper. I wasn't quite good enough to be the welder yet, but they hired me as a welder helper, and that was I went from $9 an hour to $18 an hour, which was fantastic because even before prison, I'd never made more than $15 an hour, and that was the last job I had before I went in. So I mean, I was like, hell yeah, you know. But I stayed there for 18 months at that job, and I actually got promoted 6 months in to inside sales because I was learning fast enough. They challenged me. They said, "We'll give it to you if you can learn assembly." So they moved me from the welding shop to the assembly side. I stayed there for 3 months before they said, "Okay, you're good. Come on." And so I was over all the processes, all the sales progress. I had to take pictures of everything, keep in contact with all the clients, make sure all the parts were being ordered when they needed them, making sure all the parts were being made in-house, make sure everybody's on time. So it was a cool position. I got a little bit of a raise, not a huge raise.
Kind of like a project manager.
Pretty much, yeah.
Project coordinator.
Yeah.
It's kind of what my husband does.
But it's
on
like,
a much bigger scale, but yeah.
Yeah.
He's managing projects like all over the world.
Yeah,
the nation.
that's dope.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's very similar.
Yeah.
Stressful. It's a lot to keep up with. So, and then why did you leave there? Or where did you go?
Well, we actually got half of the company got laid off earlier this year because of the tariffs. We do order some parts from overseas, and because of the uncertainty and the costs of oil and the parts, a lot of the clients weren't committing to the equipment that we needed to keep it funded. So I was one of the ones that got let go in I think it was the second or third round.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So then you started a job with Mitchell Roofing?
I did.
And you love it?
Yeah, it was
They
dope.
seem like a great company.
Yeah, it's great. We were just doing some Christmas stuff earlier. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
They hired a DJ to play tunes at this job they had going, and they put Santa shirts on all the roofers and Santa hats.
That's cute.
Doing some content, yeah.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see the content.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Are you in the content?
I am.
Oh, that's
I had the elf thing you gave me.
You have to share that with me. Or tag me so I can share it on social media.
Sure.
So you're doing that with Mitchell Roofing.
Mm-hmm.
You also have done some landscaping.
I have, yeah. I was doing.
And you
lawn
like
care,
know how to repair small engines.
Yeah,
we're almost done, but we can be quick.
Yeah.
So you know how to repair some small engine stuff, and you were able to buy some equipment and start doing like some major, like zero turn landscaping and things like that on the side.
It was mostly smaller stuff. Fix the guys at the welding job. They showed me how to fix some stuff, and so I made a little money, bought a couple of pieces of equipment, and started doing lawn care for mostly regular houses, like $40 a yard, just to help supplement the fact that we didn't have overtime there. So
okay, and so you're wanting to continue landscaping, possibly?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So, but you have some future plans. You have all kinds. And then what about guitar? Are you going to play around town anywhere?
I play and sing for the church.
Okay.
So, I lead worship here and there.
Do you write any songs?
I do.
We're going to have you back on. You have to play us a song. Will you be ready for that in a few months?
Yeah.
Okay. Like one of your own songs?
Oh, we can do that.
That would be awesome. I would love that.
Okay.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on today and telling your story, because now you are in all these ministry groups and you go to church and you're very involved. Is it's my understanding. I talk to you and you're like, no, I have men's group, or you're always telling me you have something.
Yeah.
And I know that's your priority. And then you have your daughter how old is she now?
She's gonna be 8 in January.
8 years old. So this has been a long road.
Yeah.
So she didn't see you. Did she ever come see you in prison?
I didn't meet her till she was 2.
And then she came to see you in prison?
Yeah, her mom brought her one
So
day.
she brought her to visit you often or no?
After the fact, no. So I met her right before COVID hit, and then we actually got back together briefly.
While you're in prison?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had such a U-turn from finding Jesus. I wasn't the same person anymore. I mean,
you were probably the person she knew you were.
Or could be, yeah.
Yeah. And then it just still didn't work out.
Yeah, it got really hard for her, keeping up with everything and stuff. So she ended up, having to live her own life and not spend so much attention, like dealing with my phone calls from prison and stuff. And so, especially with the COVID, everything was hard. A lot of people split up, so just for various reasons. But
I met my husband summer 2020. It's like the opposite. But I just want to say thank you. I do want you to come back on because it's such a great story and inspirational. And I think it was really important to explain I know that was hard. But I really appreciate you being so candid and sharing that with us and being vulnerable for us. Because that, you never know. You save somebody's life.
Yeah.
Change somebody's life.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Caiden. We'll talk to you soon. Bye. Bye, guys. Merry Christmas.